Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God. What's happening?
Hey,
Welcome, welcome. Fresh edition happening on this Friday, April 17th, 2026.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got the date right. Check me out.
yeah. Love Supreme Friday.
Well, Supreme Friday. Let's fire it up.
Hey, let's start.
First Sky Omaha. In the morning. Money. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for getting up early with us this Friday morning. I'm trying to wake up myself. That's what's
Man,
going on. Yep. Fresh edition is happening right now. Of course, you saw at the top of the show that we will be speaking to the mayor today. This is monthly Meetup with the Mayor Day. Shout out to Mayor
hey.
John Ewing. We'll be anticipating him coming in, so get your questions ready. Other than that, it is a Love Supreme Friday, so we will be talking about some haps and things going on, and yeah, fun stuff coming up this weekend. Hopefully, you get some time to spend, live alive with one another, with your families, and all that good stuff. You know, we try to keep it positive, try to remember what we're fighting for out here these
Yeah.
days.
Gotta live alive with one another.
Got to live alive. How you feeling over there, buddy?
I'm all right, man. I actually got some rest last night, but kind of woke up my throat a little scratchy. If y'all hear it, bear with me, a little
Ooh,
scratchy. I don't know. Maybe it's a pollen count, changing of the seasons. Kids be dirty. Not quite sure what it is, but yeah, dealing with a little something in my throat. Other than that, though, man, feeling good, feeling good. Definitely looking forward to today's conversation with the mayor. It's
absolutely.
been a little while coming, so get your questions and things ready. We don't have them. Usually we have our guests for a little longer. Of course, he's a busy man. So that's a short interview today. But yeah, get your questions ready. And yeah, how you doing, man? How's your Friday?
Not bad, not bad. I'm definitely anticipating today's show. Can't wait to speak to
Yeah.
the mayor. Feel pretty lucky that we get to speak to the mayor. Not a lot of outlets out here get to do that.
Well.
Looking at y'all, looking at y'all.
hmm, hmm.
I'm not gonna gloat too much today, but yeah, happy to be here. Happy to talk about some things that's going on. Of course, lots of news, lots of haps. This is also Haps Friday, so we'll definitely be talking about some of the events and things that are coming up. And there's a lot going on this weekend, so we'll jump into it a little early today. But if you have any haps, anything going on that you think we need to be checking out this weekend, especially,
Man.
then we please let us know. And yeah, let's try to get outside, man. There's a lot going on. Of course, on Sunday, the big news opening the Open Omaha Public Library
Yeah.
Central Library is opening finally on the 19th. Those of you that have driven by Dodge 72nd and Dodge to see the library sees that big sign out on the window that says 419. Well, 419 is Sunday, so it's going down. And we'll definitely be in the house trying to mix it up, man. We've already been a couple times to see it in person, some sneak peeks and previews, but now it'll be open to the public, so we're looking forward to it. Also, a shout out to Omaha Transit. The Orbit bus is going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
giving free bus rides on Sunday for you to go check out the library too. So it might be a thing to do, an event. Take the bus down to the library, see what's happening. So yeah, big ones, man, big all kinds of stuff. But before we get into today's community updates, I definitely want to shout out everybody who's in the chat that got up early with us this morning. Shout out to RG giving us a morning, y'all. Pop says good Friday morning and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you,
Hey.
Pops. Leia Keister, I think she knew it was my turn because she's laying the yippee skippy on me heavy today. Let me see
Heavy.
if I me. Happy fry yip yo yay yippee yo yippee yo yay yippee. Okay, I think I put an
Almost.
extra yippee in there. I think I did, but
Yeah, I think that yippee cutting off kind of threw you off a little bit.
okay. Oh yeah, I thought so. All right, but cool. Right on. Happy
Hey, good job. Good job.
Happy Friday, yippee yo yay, Leia. I appreciate
Yeah.
you coming on in. Sean McCarthy gives us a good morning. Happy Friday, First Sky team and chimers.
Hey.
Again, man, congratulations on the new job, and thanks for continuing to put job information in for First Sky Omaha, even though you got one. I was like, check him out. He's still gonna try to hook, let people know what's happening out here in the job world.
Man.
We'll be talking about it. Marlon Harrison says, good morning, First Sky family, and happy TGIF, everyone. Happy Friday for sure. Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning, everyone. Good morning. Stacy Jean gives us a good morning and some sunshine. Appreciate that. Also, RG says, wait till you get older, buddy. Those overnight wake up calls get to be regular, and if you don't wake up, you'll end up with wet leg.
Wet leg.
Hey, I've been checking out Wet Leg ever since they got announced to come to my house.
They get
They're
down. They
different
just
than I
at
thought they were.
Coachella.
Say again?
They were just at Coachella.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're different than I thought they were. Is what I was trying to say. So that I was like, let me dig in a little deeper and see what's happening. I mean, I don't. It's still not the draw for me, but yeah, okay. New music always a good thing to see. I like to try to implement that on a Friday too. New music. Anybody got new music happening?
Hmm.
Doesn't new music happen on Mondays usually? New Music Monday, or when does the music get released, buddy? You in the industry?
I mean, it's kind of everywhere. I remember, when it used to drop on Tuesdays. I used to look
Yeah,
for CDs. You remember that CDs coming out on Tuesdays? You get the CD catalog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I remember that. Yes, that's why I was
yeah,
wondering if it changed up with the digital. The
yeah. It
digital
did.
realm.
Now people just drop it. You got lemonades everywhere. Just
All right, all right. Well, if there's any new music you guys are listening to too, we'd love to hear about that. A couple of musicians, we always would. You can put
man.
it in the chat, put it in first or the Friends of First Sky Omaha, the group page on Facebook, most definitely. But before we get too far
Mm.
into it, we definitely need to talk about a few things. What happened?
Sean McCarthy in the chat with some
Oh,
haps. Community update, getting it going.
got to talk about Record Store Day. Yeah, get your vinyl right. Record Store Day is an event. I usually don't go to Record Store Days myself because I just don't like going standing in long lines and stuff like that. And I just like going on another day and get the stuff. But I didn't realize that some things you can't get unless you get them on Record Store Day. There's special records and things that come out. So you might want to check it out. Tap in with Mark Manor and find out if there's some things in there that you want to check out and go make it an event, make it a thing. It is kind of the yearly thing. They started Record Store Day to boost record sales, but record sales is pretty boosted these days,
Man,
along with
man.
other physical media. So yeah, shout out to Homers for always putting it down and making Record Store Day hot. Appreciate that.
Record store.
Sean McCarthy, you read my mind, bro. He said the new Jill Scott album is amazing.
Man, so much pressure.
She cannot be denied on that album, for real. For real.
Man.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Do yourself a favor, check it out. We're gonna go ahead and jump into some of these community updates before we get too far into it because we got a lot of them, and we're anticipating our special guest, the mayor, today. So here's
Hey.
what it is going down. So let me go ahead and jump into a few things. First thing I wanted to do was acknowledge our partners in media over there at 87.9, their third year anniversary. I don't know if you guys have tapped into 87.9 The Culture yet, but 3 years they already been in the game, which is pretty incredible. So if you don't know what 87.9 The Culture is, it's a internet radio station that has been blowing up all over the place in Omaha. Shout out to DJ Mr. Soul in particular because he's really been holding things down. And the reason why I wanted to highlight them is not just for this and for you to be able to go check them out. Definitely go check them out. 87.9 The Culture. Look it up and get with them. But also because DJ Mr. Soul, who is a veteran in the game, is teaching kids how to DJ.
Hey.
He's over there teaching kids how to DJ. And this post that Justin Wayne put up was really, really something that I was just like, oh man. He said, today is one of those days I won't forget. My son Thomas walked into his first ever DJ lesson with Mr. Soul, walked out a different kid. He said, I'm talking eyes lit up, mind expanded, pure excitement. As a parent, there is no better feeling. He says, I'll be honest, I came in thinking, how can that be? I felt humble. DJing in this day and age is a craft. Always has been, Brother Wayne. He
Yes, sir.
says, it's music theory, timing, technology, artistry, all wrapped into one. Mr. Soul made it look effortless because he's just that good. He went on and on. Go to Justin Wayne's page, read the rest of that. But I just wanted to shout that out because, man, first of all, there's nothing better you can do than teaching a kid art. And if you have the ability to be a teacher that way, I don't have that gene, but obviously DJ Mr. Soul can break things down to all ages, and he's doing it over there. So it's not just the radio station. We building culture around here. So shout out to DJ Mr. Soul. Shout out to Justin Wayne. Shout out to everybody who is participating in the radio station over there. Definitely check them out. Definitely check them out.
Man.
Also, we have Karen Wells coming to the show here pretty soon because there's a new film that's going to be dropping, No Knock, No Charge, about the Amir Locke story. That story is continuing on. There's things that's going on in the court. The fight continues, and the family will be on the show here pretty soon. Buddy, do you have that date again? I'm sorry, I didn't.
The 27th.
She'll be on the 27th. If you already tapped into 95.7 The Boss, she's been on The Boss already and talking about this film and talking about what's going on in the fight. But she'll be here on the 27th. We'll talk to her the day of the day of the movie. That's right. Now I remember that's why we booked her Monday morning, the 27th, because the film is going to drop at Film Streams on the 27th that night at 6:30. So get ready for that. And this is beautiful that it's going to happen at Film Streams because you already know that's our new partner. We tap in with them because of that third space. So this will be a very important film to go see. Go talk to the family afterwards. This is going to be one of those things. Doors open at 6 over there at Film Streams on Mike Fahey Street. So shout out to the family that put this together and the family that keeps on fighting for justice for
Man,
Amir Locke, for real. Excuse me. Yep. So yeah, definitely want to talk about that, and also a few more things that we want to get into. There's listening sessions that's happening with the North Omaha Trail and Public Art. These are coming up on the 23rd and 25th. Shout out to Amplify Arts who teams up with Spark on this. There is something going on here with the trail this today. As a matter of fact, it is. I believe it's today at 2 o'clock. You're invited for a groundbreaking ceremony, phase 2 of the North Omaha Trail. The North Omaha Trail is finally really kind of chiming up. And Spark has been a big part of this. The trail goes all around parts of North Omaha, even through the Deuce. So you definitely want to check this out. They already had a meeting with this. And they talked about some of the artwork and stuff along the way. And now they have the groundbreaking ceremony happening today at 2 o'clock. So lots going on in that space. And Amplify Arts hit us up, which is some people over there are partners of ours too. For the listening sessions, North Omaha Trail and Public Art, Session 1, April 23rd, and also Session 2, April 25th. Mark those on your calendar. I think this will be something really interesting and different. We got a lot of construction and things being built in North Omaha, and this is one of them that we don't talk about too much, but it could be something that really kind of ties North Omaha together in a lot of ways. A bike trail, walking trail, artwork along the way. Very prominent North Omaha artists, hitting up the trail and all kinds of interactive work and all kinds of stuff going on here with this. So definitely tap in and be a part of what's going on here. I think it's still under construction, still being built. There still can be some public input to this as well. So put this on your calendar. We'll talk about this more as we go. We appreciate you guys taking a little time for that. Also, NAACP hit us up and said that they wanted to talk about this coming up too. Second Congressional District Candidate Forum is happening. Of course, we're in the primaries coming up. We're in political season here, so the NAACP is getting in on the game. Second Congressional District Candidate Forum. Get to know the candidates at the Omaha branch. Invites you to join and come prepared to ask questions regarding your community. Saturday, April 18th. So this is tomorrow. And this will be at Metropolitan Community College on the North Campus Swanson Conference Room. So over there in the Culinary Arts Building, where they'll have this debate. So definitely hit them up. This is another opportunity for you to kind of come and get to know some of the candidates. We'll try to get the candidate list and put that on Friends of. But shout out to NAACP and the other people involved with this for hitting us up, letting us know this is going on. Speaking of which, we were just talking about what's happening here at with the trail, the grand opening, the re-grand opening of the Fabric Lab, which is where all these meetings and stuff are happening for the trail, is happening today. That's the 17th. This is going on at 3:30 to 5:30. So again, they're going to be over here at the groundbreaking, which is happening at 2 o'clock, and then definitely stick around for the grand reopening of the Fabric Lab today at 3:30 as well. So again, lots going on, and there's more happening. We'll save a little bit for a little later on in the show, as we are anticipating our special guests and want to really make sure that we get to them with the time that we have allotted. And so yeah, let's go ahead and move on from there. In the meantime, between time, let's look at today's thread, buddy. What are we talking about today?
man, we're gonna be touching on a few things, preparing for our conversation with the mayor, and just looking at what's going on in the hood. But starting as I like to do with some affirmative things, we definitely have to give a shout out to the first Black founded all girls middle school. We kind of been talking about it, but Identity Prep Academy is gearing up to open their doors, and kind of in the vein of the library opening up. I definitely want to talk about an investment of a different kind. You know, still kind of following the money, but we got to invest in our youth. We got to invest in the future. So definitely want to talk about that. And not just that, speaking of investments, a huge historic investment into NPR. Again, not just libraries, but public media in general. Public access to information is what we'll be talking about starting off the show. And also, speaking of public access, shout out to Baby Boy Bolin in his recent article with ProPublica. Again, looking at the lead situation in the community. Again, that is part of the follow the money season as we look at what's going on with OPPD, the fight to close OPPD or at least get it transferred over to some cleaner energy. And of course, the role that that has in this whole data center situation. We're still keeping a close eye on that. Also, as we are ahead of our midterm, keeping in mind that OPPD board members are up for election. So yeah, we're rounding it all up into a couple of stories, man. So we're talking about that. Also, as Paul mentioned, we'll kind of dive into ahead of our visit with Sister Karen Wells. Again, she's pushing the doc. I believe it's called "Sound of the Police." Actually, is the name of the documentary. We have a clip,
No, that's
or
not it. No, this is a
a
new film. Yeah,
oh,
that's
okay,
not it.
okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
The
Sound of the
the
Police is out. It's out on Hulu. That's a film that was featuring Amir Locke as well. This is a new film that the family put together.
Yes, this is the one by I believe his uncle. No knock, no
Mhm.
charge. Right. Thank you for that. So yeah, we'll be talking about that in connection, of course, to what's been happening locally. There's been a couple of police shootings over the last week or so in the Omaha area, and we got to talk about mental health. We have to talk about mental health, and we'll dive into it from actually a couple angles. Of course, KMTV3 is reporting on the mental health crisis calls, at least again, OPPD trying to shine a light on their program, but is it enough? So I definitely want to hear from you all in the public about that. And of course, we'll try to get into that with our mayor here in a second. Just mental health access in general. A few other things that we'll be getting into the mayor, getting into with the mayor here in a second also. So look out for that. As I mentioned earlier, get your questions ready. Get ready to join the conversation. There's a few other things to dive into. It is a Love Supreme Friday. I did want to get into a little business conversation. Actually, shout out to Flatwater. They have an article about jobs in the Nebraska area. And also, man, might have to get into this Live Nation situation. Speaking of jobs and arts. Yeah. A
Yeah.
lot to talk about today, man. So we're here for the next 2 hours. As always, let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo, yo.
What's the word? What's the word?
Man, that job situation is going to be really interesting. I think they feel it's really interesting that they're saying that there's like job shortages and things going on, and then it really relays to the way that we're trying to do things. Because when that happens, when they go left, we go right. And
Hey.
I'm looking at the yeah, shout out to Rico Wade. I'm looking at the Friends of First Sky Omaha, and there's so many of y'all putting jobs opportunities in Friends right now. It if I were to look at Friends of First Sky Omaha, it don't look like there's job shortages going on. It looks like we are finding the jobs and putting them out there for us to be able to handle business because apparently there's a little bit of a shortage going around. So anyway, just something interesting, and we'll definitely dive into that a little bit later on in the show. Just wanted to give y'all a shout out on the chat. You guys are going in. Sean McCarthy says homers will be slammed this weekend as Record Store Day
Man.
tomorrow. Lines usually begin around 10 p.m. the night before. They be camping out to get them records over. That's what I'm saying. That's why it ain't my style. So I'd be like,
Yeah.
I'll catch them the next day. But if you're hardcore like that, and there's some things you can only get on Record Store Day, then you might be one of those ones. If you're one of those ones that camp out, stand in line, let me know. Love to hear about it. Also, Pop says I love Layla and the Yippies. He said this sounds like it'd be a great name for a group. Layla and the Yippies. Julie
I
Prince,
like it.
yeah, it works. Julie Prince just gives us a good morning. Check out Baby Rose and Leon Thomas
Okay.
song.
Judy
Friends.
knows ball.
Y'all trying to come through here with it. That's what's up. Appreciate that. Kimber gives us a good morning, y'all. Appreciate that very much. Also, Anthony Rogers right in the chat with some of his points again. He says, first county in Nebraska poised to ban data centers. The resistance has finally made it to Nebraska, and it's only going to grow. But buckle the F up. Okay, man. Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Oto County.
Love to hear more about some news there on that. Yeah, OPPD, not enough public power and too much environmentally racist white power. Y'all got duped. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Don't know about the dupe part. We'll see. Kimmer Snipes in the chat says Spark CDI has the groundbreaking for phase 2 of the North Omaha Trail today at 2:00 p.m. Yep, we talked about it right before you came in. 26th and Lake Street. Appreciate you giving us the address again. Also, she says, I'm curious to learn more about the impact of the trail that they built in Atlanta.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I was
Yes, yes.
just thinking that. I was thinking that we were talking about it for sure.
Yeah. We kinda
I don't
talked
think
about
our
it.
trail's gonna be as extensive, but there is a precedent set here. So, yeah, buddy, you've talked about it before.
Yeah, been looking at this actually for years, back in the Mine and Soul days when they were kind of, coming up to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, trying to put that trail right through the grounds. And I was visiting out here, preparing to move out here and looking at some of the things city planning wise going on. But yeah, it's a system. It's a system that's being duplicated and replicated and moved around the country. But purpose built communities and these beltline projects definitely got to talk about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and that and much, much more. We'll go take a quick break, come back and jump into it. Again, if you're just joining us, we're anticipating our monthly meetup with the mayor. Mayor
Hey,
John Ewing is going to join us here shortly. Lucky us. We'll be right back, y'all. Stay tuned. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey.
Monthly meetup with the mayor day. That's what's up. Also, Love
Yeah, man.
Spring Friday on top of that. Yeah, yeah. Definitely let
Yeah.
us know if you guys got things going on this weekend that we need to check out. In the meantime, Buddy, what's first on the agenda?
Yeah, man. As we like to do around here, the style that we putting down, starting with a little affirmative, a little positive, a little good news, and going in the direction that we like to see things going. And of course, this season is follow the money. So I want to talk about investment, but investment of a different sort, not necessarily exactly dollars and cents, although it definitely takes dollars and cents to do what they're doing, but it's all about the investment in the youth, investment in the future, man. Shout out. Of course, we had the Japanista, as we like to call her, who we found out was the co-founder of this Identity Prep Academy. But again, big shout out to Sister Raquel Henderson for putting us on game, man. And we got to definitely dive more into this situation. Again, Identity Prep Academy is Nebraska's first state approved Black founded school. This is, again, an answer to a long question that we've been trying to ask. How can we get schools in our own community to, again, invest in our youth so we can have a stronger, more, aware workforce in the
Mm-hmm.
future?
Mm-hmm.
And again, big shout out to Dr. Denisha Phillips. Dr. Phillips, put some respect on her name, who is the founder and chief executive of Identity Prep Academy. She says the school was created with input from families and their daughters. She says we invited the families and their daughters to come in. We called it the dreams of our daughters. They talked about what kind of education, what would be nourishing for them, what would it look like, and then we built it. Again, Phillips highlighted the importance of representation and cultural connection in the school's approach, saying we want high quality education and academic excellence at the forefront. The way that we're getting there and the track that we're laying is that it needs to be culturally fortified. Our girls need to see the people that look like them in leadership that looks like them, man. So again, big shout out to the school that's actually set to open. And it's not too small of a class, man. There's actually been about 60 to 100 girls on every waiting list, so there's a lot of anticipation, a lot of demand for this type of thing, if you will. So again, big shout out to those who are involved in it. And if you want to, look more into it, you can check out identityprep.org. Again, that's identityprep.org.
There you go. We need to see if we can have Dr. Phillips on
Big
the
time.
show. Talk about that a little bit. I see her way over there in the corner of the Channel 7 and put the Identity Prep tag across her face.
Dang.
She's way over there in the corner and part of this too. We'll see if we can have her on to talk about this school a little bit more too, and find out some of the inner workings of what's going on
Yeah,
there and how this came about is what I keep
man.
wondering about.
Man, follow the money.
Follow
How
the
she
money.
fund this thing? How she make this happen? And state was it state approved? What does that mean? What does that mean? How you get that? So yeah, definitely have to talk about that. But moving along, man, again, it's not just about the investment in the youth and the schools, but the investment in public media and information in general. Of course, we talked about and have been talking about the opening library coming up on Sunday. But again, public media getting a big investment on the national level, as again NPR is announcing a $113 million total investment from philanthropic entities and individuals to support again public media, which is huge because if you remember, again, some of the media that deals with educating our youth and investing in our youth, i.e., Reading Rainbow, Sesame Street, all these are public media programs. So again, we all know that the Trump administration tried to undermine and disinvest from public media. So again, although while this $113 million doesn't quite cover the billions of dollars that were taken out of the public media broadcasting coffers, so it's looking good. It's looking good for NPR, and again, those who are invested in public media, we're in that space. We're all about it. Yeah. So definitely a big win on that forefront as well. I don't know if you have any more input on that.
Well, yeah, just there wasn't there a ruling by a judge there that he wasn't able to even take some of that money away from public media, so that there was a ruling
Yeah.
that he lost, and then on top of that, some investors came in and infused 113 million. Which is a good sign. Like you said, it costs a lot more to do this, but it's definitely newsworthy sign that the public really wants public media. They really want public news, independent news, and everything else that they need and want, and don't want it to be state controlled or anybody to be trying to take it away. Anything that speaks against this administration, sometimes they want to attack. And we've been talking about this war on media for a while. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And it is interesting who stepped up to help with this. Kind of looking at this haves and have nots and what are the billionaires doing, especially in this Trump era. And it is interesting. Again, one of the major donors to this situation was actually Connie Ballmer, who's the wife of Clippers owner Steve Ballmer. So you got billionaires stepping up. Also, NPR just dropped a video interview with Dave Chappelle, who's now a millionaire, who actually is supporting his local NPR station in Ohio. So again, millionaires and billionaires kind of getting into the fight is very interesting as well. And we'll definitely keep our eye on this situation, as again, this is right in our space. This is in our backyard as far as public media, and again, trying to drum up support for what it is that we're trying to do.
it's a
Again,
tough
as
thing.
it is. Not a lot of funds in it. Not many people getting rich doing what it is that we're doing. But yeah, it's needed. It's needed. So again, big shout out to those who are supporting. I see Alan Faison checking in, saying good morning, first guy.
There you
Thank
go.
you, thank you for tuning in and checking us out, man. Support public media. That's what it's about.
That's right. Appreciate that. 7:27 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, let's go ahead and keep rolling before we go to another break. What you got next up on the agenda?
Yeah, man. Speaking of supporting public media, shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bolin. Man, he's doing the job, man. He's doing the job, man. Definitely would love to get him on the show to catch up what he's been doing, man. He's been digging deep as they do over there at Flatwater into the lead situation. So
All right.
we definitely have to continue to keep our eyes on this. So he has a new article out again on ProPublica. Headline reads: Omaha is home to a massive Superfund site. Again, talking about the lead situation, especially in North Omaha. But here's the kicker: most kids living there aren't tested for lead. And again, we have been working with the city of Omaha and Douglas County on their lead remediation projects. But again, the question still remains out there: how many of you have had your land tested? How many of you have had your family tested for lead? And of course, the connection that has to cognitive ability, mental health, which we'll be getting into here in a second, and just physical health in general. Again, we all know the history of redlining and how North Omaha and South Omaha became North and South Omaha. Again, this is still the remnants of that history, and we have to fight to get behind it or get in front of it, really. So again, shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bowling, keeping a magnifying glass on this situation, and definitely ProPublica. Again, a lot of Omaha stories making national news. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Just want to give a quick shout out to Flatwater Free Press, Chris Baby Boy, because we know that he's been working on these articles for close to a year, maybe even
Yeah.
longer than that. Deep dive journalism is still very, very, very important. It is still happening here, especially deep dive journalism that is really kind of pulling out the truth, digging into the data, and spending some real time. This is when we see newspapers and news channels getting cutting back on their staff, the first thing they kind of do is cut back on those kinds of reporters, which are investigative reporters, investigative reporting in general, also overseas reporting, stuff like that. That's kind of stuff that gets pulled back first. So for us to have an entity in Nebraska here that has that is funding that, is doing their best to try to make that happen, and pulling in some really great reporters like Chris Bowling to do it. Just wanted to give them a shout out, and news gang shout out for that. So we don't
Man,
have a whole lot of people that are digging into a subject for over a year like that. This is definitely one you need to check out and see the series of articles that he put out on this subject, because it's the most comprehensive thing we have, especially on this lead issue that you see we're always trying to team up and try to battle, because of the proliferation of it in North and South Omaha. So definitely check out Flatwater Free Press, and please be be a supportive of them as well. Be a support. You can also donate to them as well. They're nonprofit news just like us. So
man.
check them out, and definitely we'll tap in with Chris Baby Boy Bowling. He hit me up the other day. I'm looking for a date to bring him on. Can't wait to talk to him.
Yeah, man, we're actually pretty booked up, man. So we have a lot of good shows in line for y'all. So hopefully we can fit Baby Boy into that, man. But again, that pretty much does it for that. We'll definitely have to continue. If you don't know, our style here on the show is not just broadcasting the news and forget about it. These are definitely ongoing, evergreen conversations, and yeah, just adding different elements to the conversation and digging deeper and deeper. So big shout out to Chris Baby Boy Bowling. Please look into that when you have a chance, and we'll come back and talk about OPPD because it's a lot to get into. A lot to
Got
get
to.
into. So
Got to. Sean McCarthy, you echoing what I'm saying? He says public media, it may be free, but it sure as hell ain't cheap.
man,
These deep dive efforts needs tons of financial support.
yes sir.
Coming from a journalist, coming from a news gang writer himself, really understanding what's going on inside of this. So yes, very rare, bro. I bet you we can probably count as many investigative journalists, deep dive journalists that we have in the region even. So really, again, shout out to Flatwater Free Press for that. We'll take a quick break and come back and jump into a little bit of talk about OPPD sounds like. Can't wait to hear about it. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Stay tuned. This is monthly Meetup with the Mayor Day. Hang around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, buddy to God, on this Love Supreme Friday. Appreciate everybody joining us. See Brother Gary Clark in the chat. Good morning to you, Brother Clark.
Hey.
Did run into you the other day. If you haven't checked out the North Omaha Visitor Center, it is seriously turning into the Black City Hall over there. You can pretty much run into everybody who's doing anything, and there's always a meeting going on over there too. So continuing on with everything that they're doing as far as just planning, not just for the area, not just for the Deuce area, but all of North Omaha in a big way. So shout out to them for holding space. That is one of the most important third spaces we have right now. Definitely go check out the North Omaha Visitor Center. Shout out to Preston Love Jr. Shout out to Vita Jeffrey. Shout out to everybody behind that organization as well. Amy Ryan in the chat, First Sky fam, what's happening? Giving us a good morning. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming on in this morning. That's what's happening. Love that you got to get up early with us this morning. I love it. I love it. That's what's happening. Also, Frida Marion gives us a good morning, gentlemen. Appreciate you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. You guys are just joining us. This is monthly Meetup with the Mayor Day, so we're anticipating speaking to Mayor John Ewing Jr. coming in shortly. Feeling very privileged that we get to do that. But before we get to him, we're going to jump back into one of the stories because we do got to talk about this next subject, buddy. What are we getting into now?
Man, we'll there's more to get into. Shout out to Anthony Rogers writing in the chat, kind of talking about the data center situation, which we'll be getting into a little later on in the second hour. But ahead of our mayor conversation, we got to talk about again what's going on with the police. Again, kind of touched on it as far as lead and mental health and cognitive abilities, but just the mental health situation in Omaha in general is something that definitely has to be addressed. Of course, OPD, excuse me, just released
Yeah.
OPD, excuse me, just again was highlighted in a KMTV3 article talking about their mental health professionals that are being paired with police officers, and of course, this is coming on the heels of a couple of police involved shootings. One where police shot a woman at Walmart, and then another incident where again an officer was shot by a man in a domestic violence situation. And again, a lot of controversy, a lot of conversation, a lot of posts on social media surrounding this. And for me, it is a issue of follow the money as far as investment into mental health resources, especially those that don't involve police involvement. Again, so it is interesting. Paul, I'll kind of let you share your thoughts on this. You seem to have some feelings about the timing of this KMTV article, which again isn't necessarily shouting out anything new. Again, the Cahoots program and other programs have been a topic of discussion with the Omaha Police Department for quite some time. Of course, a situation was built and developed under Mayor Stothert, but whether or not that has expanded or how that has expanded, not quite sure where that is. Again, we have spoken to the mayor about his push for more police officers, and he did say that there is a mix of mental health workers that he wants in there. But again, the Omaha Police Department is reportedly embedding mental health professionals in police precincts already. It needs it's needed, says Lindsay Kroll, who's a mental health coordinator for OPD. She says between January and April 11th, more than 4,000 calls to 911 were mental health related. Again, 4,000 just this year already. So again, pretty interesting how many calls are related to mental health versus how many workers are actually, again, working in the field of mental health or accompanying these police officers. She told KMTV that almost half of Omaha police officers have received a certain amount of training or crisis response intervention team training, and that neighbors often call specifically requesting those specifically trained for that, saying the more details that people can provide about what's going on, what they're experiencing, what their loved ones are experiencing, the more equipped officers will be to respond, better prepared to how to assist in that situation. But again, um, are officers really equipped to deal with mental health crises? How extensive is that training? Or should we need more actual mental health professionals who have, 4-year degrees in dealing with those types of things? So, Paul, I know you had some feelings about the timing of this. What say
Yeah, I
you?
do. Paying attention to just the, me, I'm with the propaganda. I'm the propaganda police, and the propaganda police too.
There
Like
you go.
I really the timing of this Channel 3 piece that's talking about that's reminding people after after we watch a woman for the last few days, we watch a woman in crisis attacking a child. We see the body cam footage of police who have gunned her down accordingly, and we all know that we are dealing with somebody who is in a mental crisis. Now, not saying that this particular situation was one that a mental health specialist could have came and de-escalated in the moment. I still, first of all, got to say, not I'm not a police officer, but I feel like they tend to lean towards killing somebody before doing anything else. That seems to be the go-to a lot, and that was my first thought of that. And then second of all, just the crisis behind it, and us digging in a little bit and reading more. She was in the hospital earlier that day. There's a lot more to the story. She was, there was some mental health. She fell through the cracks, mental health cracks in the first place. As a matter of fact, I think there's a story out there that's saying that she's not even going to be, well, she's passed now, but she's not even going to be charged for reason of insanity for the attack. So there's a lot to it, and then obviously that she got passed by, didn't get the help that she needed, the mental health situation there. So number one, I feel like the media and the powers that be probably felt like there's going to be some backlash. There kind of was. He's a woman in mental health crisis. Stories were popping up that she
Hmm.
didn't get the help that she needed. I think it was Joaquin Fox who I first saw mention how fast the body cam footage came out.
Man,
When they want to show you the body cam footage, they'll bring it out. Other times in other killings by the police, it's been months. It's been pieced together. We haven't seen it all, and in some cases, we haven't seen body cam footage at all. Only the family saw some, and so on. So that was the other thing that was interesting as well. But yes, I think that this is something that they have been doing. Like you said, it's an older story. They're revisiting it to try to maybe calm the public down to say, hey, we are still doing something about that. So when we talk to the mayor today, I will have that one serious question for him. What is happening with our mental health professionals on police calls on what's happening here. My mind goes back to Zachary Bear Hills. Why do
Man,
people who are in mental health crisis have to die by hands of police? This is something that definitely is bothering me. I'm sure it's bothering a lot of folks. So appreciate you guys bearing with us through that real quick. You just had to mention it. We don't really talk too much about these kinds of crimes, but this is something that's huge in our community. Mental health is a question that is an ongoing conversation here, and it always, it's unfortunate that it bears out in somebody losing their life every time. But did want to bring that up about that Channel 3 story, because always we can't always tamp down the public's concerned by trying to reassure them about something that has been inadequate this whole time so far anyway.
I think that's the big thing. It's just for me, again, in the season to follow the money, keeping it in that lens. Like, how much are we investing in mental health resources, and not just paying the police to do that? Like, actually paying mental health professionals in a mental health environment to help. And to your point, it's less about the shooting that happened and just these types of stories. You mentioned Zachary Berry Hills. I'm also thinking of Nico Jenkins, which is kind of one of the main cases and examples that they use to be quote unquote tough on crime. But they failed to realize or acknowledge how even a Nico Jenkins fell through the cracks, and how even a Nico Jenkins could have been prevented if, again, there were adequate resources for mental health. And to your point, um, this woman did have a history. Actually, it was last year where she was involved in another incident where she was found not responsible, excuse me, by reason of insanity. So again,
Yeah.
this is a longer history and then that. And for us, or for me, on today, this Love Supreme Friday, I did kind of want to couple in another story we've been talking about, as far as uh the the state's investment in arts and the humanities, and how arts can actually help with this, investing in arts, which is something that we're also not investing in to the level that it needs to be, and helping with mental health abilities. Paul, I kind of wanted to, talk to you a little bit about the hi-fi house days, and how we had, our elders coming in who were dealing with dementia, who were dealing with Alzheimer's, and how music was able to help them. And there's studies out there about how art can help with schizophrenia and things like that. I have personally family members dealing with schizophrenia, so this is something that definitely hits home for me. And again, where are the resources? Where is the investment? Paul, what say you about the arts, man? It's Love
Yeah.
Supreme.
There's a lot. There's a lot. I actually want to save it for the second hour because we're anticipating our guests here coming up. But yeah, I would definitely love to dig into some of the help, the actual physical hands-on help that they were doing over at the Hi-Fi House. If you guys remember the Hi-Fi House back in the day, shout out to Kate Deso. She put together this space where you can come and listen to records, huge record collection, very expensive hi-fi systems. You can kind of sit around and gather. It was one of those third spaces that
Man,
is kind of outer space third space. Like you talking about gathering together because surrounding music. But they weren't just a club for you to come in and do that. They also had programs during the day where they would bring elderly folks and folks that were suffering with mental illnesses and stuff like that over to the Hi-Fi House, or they would take portions of the Hi-Fi House to their facilities, because music therapy is a real thing. And it was a beautiful thing they had going on, and I wish that it would have continued. As a matter of fact, we have been talking about making some of that stuff continue. So yeah, if you're involved with that, if you remember the Hi-Fi House, we should definitely talk about continuing on with some of that. But like I said, I'd like to get into that more on the second hour. We'll dive deep into some Love Supreme conversation in the second hour as well, because there's a lot going on. It is Friday, Love Supreme Friday, and we love that. So yeah, we'll definitely do that. In the meantime, between time, we got our special guest getting ready to come in, so we'll take a quick break and bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for monthly meetup with the mayor. Stay tuned. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, buddy to God. Be right
Hey,
back,
hey,
y'all.
hey, hey.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's buddy to God, and we have the mayor,
Good
Hey,
John
morning.
Ewing Jr. in the chat. How you doing this morning?
Great. How are you, gentlemen?
doing
Man,
great, doing great.
Good.
I
Looking
got, I
forward
got to
to it.
tell you, Mr. Mayor, when the weather get good, I'm a different person. I'm loving it out here right now.
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
Yep.
Paul always says springtime is the time he falls in love with Omaha again. You know,
Fall back
just
in love with Omaha. That's right. Because we got beef in the wintertime for real. So,
Yeah.
well, I really appreciate you coming. We feel extra privileged this time that we get to speak to you because not everybody gets to. So
yeah,
I'm gonna leave it at that. But good morning to you, and how you doing today?
I'm doing good. And all I'll say is this: I talk to all legitimate reporters. I
Cold
don't go
blood.
on political talk shows.
man. Okay,
Get them.
okay. Well, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Looking at us in that light. You know, we try to do what we can.
Yeah, I love it. I
Uh,
love it.
but yes. Thank you for joining. Because again, you have. I think what you just were on the Atlantic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. National news, making headlines, doing the work. So again, thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Of course,
Yeah.
you have a lot going on. So if you don't mind, Paul, let's dive into
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Let's dive in, man. First and foremost, we want to give you the floor. Make sure that you are letting us know about some of the things that are on your mind right now. Some of your initiatives. We talk a lot about your year of the neighbor around here a lot, and want to dig in more on that. But before that, as far as initiatives and stuff are concerned, what are you most excited about happening right now?
Well, I'm excited about several things. One is the passage of Legislative Bill 1165. And I'm not sure everybody understands what that means, but what that does is that gives us the opportunity to retain our large companies such as Union Pacific, and then gives us the tools to be able to compete when they're looking to expand and bring more jobs here. So there's a possibility of thousands of jobs coming to Omaha. Then the
Wow.
second part of that is making sure we get people skilled up, and we're working with our public school systems, all of the school districts, as well as Metro Community College and UNO, to make sure that our young people have opportunities to get the skills, the training they need to be able to be successful. And then, of course, working with the Empowerment Network and their efforts with what we call Step Up, which gives young people the opportunity to get their first job. So, really trying to make all of this work together to keep companies here, expand here, and make sure we have good, high paying jobs in Omaha, which then impacts almost everything else. If you impact people's economic status, that helps with housing, that helps with transportation, that helps with most of the issues that people face. So it was critically important that we look at these things holistically. Another thing we're really excited about is some of the things we're able to do with soccer stadium and potentially a national level soccer complex. So our young people have an opportunity to be here for competitions instead of driving to other cities.
Mm.
And we know that youth sports is a tremendous economic engine. So we want to be able to be part of that. We also have Levi Carter Park, where we'll have, I believe it's 10 full court basketball courts, as well as 14 volleyball courts, and then ultimately football fields and things like that as well. So we bring resources to North and South Omaha as we look at building our park system.
Man, that's a lot
Yeah,
going
it
on.
is. It is.
Flywater Free Press just had an article about jobs, so it's interesting that you're talking about that. It seems like you're addressing the job situation and trying to get a jump on it. According to Flatwater Free Press, we're in a little bit of a job shortage right now. But like I was saying earlier on the show, even on our channel, Friends of First Sky Omaha, there's so many of us that are posting jobs, new opportunities. There's a kind of a scent in the air right now about new things being built in and around North Omaha, especially, and big corporations in places that are being implemented here that can provide jobs. So I appreciate you jumping on the job situation in a big way.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's critically important to our families that they have the opportunity to be successful economically. That's what's going to make Omaha a great city when the economy works for everybody.
What I'm hearing is, kind of the word I've been saying throughout the season, ecosystem. It's not just about, economy is
Absolutely.
not just about dollars and cents, but how do we put these pieces together to work in tandem to make the whole system work better? So the step up, the new jobs, I appreciate that approach. Any
Sure.
other
Let
initiatives
me
that
just
you
add
know?
this really
Mhm.
quick. There's also a focus on making sure that our small and emerging businesses, contractors, construction teams get the opportunity to bid on projects and get work through city contracts. And we're looking to try to expand that to some of the other big employers as well. But we also are really refining our focus on entrepreneurship with Bridget Hadley, where we will be able to start making sure that we're giving small businesses the opportunity to get the resources they need to be successful.
Beautiful,
Mhm.
beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Appreciate that. Well, we know we got limited time with you, so we do got to jump into a couple other things.
Sure.
I got a couple other important questions here. I'm gonna do the light one first, which is what's happening with the light rail that we're putting
Sure.
in. Saw a post by Noli's Pizza the other day. That is a place that I usually frequent. They're having a hard time over there. Have you made any headway with the businesses over there? Are they going to be able to receive any kind of gap funding or anything like that while the
Sure.
construction is going on?
Well, we cannot, and I've said this numerous times because it's the truth, and we can't break the law, but we cannot provide them funding from city government.
Mm,
What we tried to do is make sure people understand that these businesses are open and you can get to them. And having people patronize them is the way that we can have them be most successful. The other thing that we have to look at is making sure we provide clean, safe access to these businesses. And we've been working extremely hard to make sure that the routes are safe. We're offering free parking or reduced parking so people can park in the city parking garages and then be able to walk half a block or a block to these areas in
mm,
order to be able to patronize the businesses. We're asking the large companies also to look at doing some of the things we've done as a city, which is to host meetings at the affected businesses, as
mm.
well as our holiday party, all of those type of things. So that's really the answer, is getting more people in their doors, and we're doing everything we can. We also have a effort called This Way, where people can actually be able to find directions and see how to get to a business, where to park, those type of things. And then that business can also use that effort to specifically communicate with people to say, here's how you can get to our business, here's the parking. So
Mm.
those
Is
type of things that we can do.
So,
is this way?
go
Is
ahead.
that an app or is that a website or what? What is that?
You can find most of the things on the website for the streetcar. I believe it's Omaha Streetcar.
Okay.
Okay.
But
I'll
we
definitely
can
look into that.
certainly, Aaron can certainly get you the specific websites, and you can then share them with your listeners.
Would
Okay.
love to.
And the most important question when it comes to you guys' efforts there, have you making any efforts to speed up the
Man,
construction?
timeline.
Sure.
How we looking?
Sure. What I'm going to do is share a thought that somebody shared with me a couple days ago, a gentleman by the name of Steve Jensen, who pointed out that really we should have been communicating differently as a city on this whole project. I
Mm,
think most people think this is all streetcar related when it comes to the construction, and it's not.
Hmm.
The streetcar construction hasn't started yet. What we're doing is replacing 100-year-old infrastructure underneath the streets that would be the streetcar route, so that we don't have a streetcar that we start and then you have gas main breaks, water main breaks underneath the streetcar, and the streetcar is not operational. So that's the way it should have been communicated. That's the way we're going to communicate it going forward, so people know when the streetcar project actually starts and
Wow.
when we're done with the infrastructure work. But it really wouldn't make sense to put the streetcar on top of that old infrastructure. It'd be like putting a Cadillac body on top of Chevy, uh, and then having that and saying you have a Cadillac. What you
Right.
have is
Mhm.
a Cadillac body and a Chevy engine.
Old
Mhm.
rusty engine from the 70s or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I appreciate that. Knowing that your time is short, I
But
definitely
we
want
are
to.
we are speeding up the process. When I started, it was going to be done probably in the spring or summer of 29. I think right now we're on track for late summer, early fall of 28. So we have moved it up potentially somewhere just short of a year.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, 2 years go by pretty quickly. So,
Yeah.
okay, definitely want to keep an eye on that. Paul, you had something else?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I know we got limited time here with the mayor, so we definitely want to. We have to acknowledge what just happened with the lady who just got gunned down by the
Oh,
police. Because right now in the news, Channel 3 just kind of put something out reminding us that there's a facility, there's infrastructure in place to send mental health professionals with police for certain situations, and I thought the timing of that was really interesting because I think people are really chiming up. They're finding out the history of this woman who had mental health problems, and it seems to be, Zachary Bearhills comes to my mind. It seems to be that why does a mental health break have to end up in police shooting? And so we wanted to kind of make sure that we address that with you and ask
sure.
you what are the efforts on getting more mental health people to be able to answer these calls? Have you made any efforts here in your tenure so far to be able to move towards that more?
Yeah, we actually have a program that allows us to do that. I want people to understand very clearly, however, that this was not a situation where you could wait
Yeah,
for a mental health provider or anyone else. You had a situation, quite honestly, where police officers were placed in a very difficult situation. They could not let her leave with that child.
yeah.
Definitely.
That's number one. Number two, they did everything they could to try to talk her down. And then once she slashes the child's face and is still holding the knife in a menacing way, you have to protect the life of that child. And so they had to do what they had to do to stop that particular incident from becoming even more tragic.
We've acknowledged that in that particular moment, it's not like you can call a mental health professional and come and break that up. Definitely, I don't know if they she needed. I'm not about police procedure. I don't know, so I don't know if they needed to end her life on that in that particular incident. But I do acknowledge that they needed to step in and do something at the time. But I also am thinking
Sure.
about.
Let me just point this out really quick because I think people speculate and I don't like to speculate, but here's what we have to look at. If they had not fired on her and protected that child, and then she takes and slashes the child's throat or stabs the child in the heart or any of those type of things, then people would have been saying, well, why didn't they stop her? So
Mhm.
Sure.
what we have to look at is the facts, and the facts are that they truly saw a situation where that young child's life was at risk. Now, there's a lot of other factors that we can talk about with her background, and I
Right.
Certainly.
don't know the full background, but
Hmm.
I do know enough to wonder why there wasn't some mental health services being provided to her before we got to this particular situation.
You're reading my
And
mind. That's
that's
exactly what we're
yeah,
talking about. Yep.
yeah. That's where I wanted to interject because I don't want to put you, Mayor, in a position where you have to defend, that situation. And I think we all understand that just happened the way it happened. But getting ahead of those types of instances, getting ahead of a Nico Jenkins, getting ahead of a Zachary Bear Hills. I
Yes.
have family members who have lost, their lives to
Mhm.
police during a mental health, episode. So to your point, what efforts are there? Because we've seen a lot of mental health situations where it does, even if it's not a shooting, you have to engage with the police. You don't really get the mental health assistance until you have a case, until you're in the system. So what efforts on the city level are
Sure.
there to just have general mental health resources for the public before
Sure.
we get to
There,
this point?
there are individuals who are trained police officers who have the ability to go out on those calls. The question becomes, is there enough time to get them there and keep everybody safe at the same time?
Right.
That's the goal, is to keep everybody safe. And so if you can get the mental health providers that we have on staff there soon and quickly enough to be able to help with the situation, that is the preferred method that police officers across this country, even when I was a member of the police department, we would have wanted. What happens in America in particular is that police officers are called for everything and expected to be able to address every issue.
Right.
And though we have training and extensive amounts of training when I went through and when these officers go through now, you still are not a mental health professional. And so
Exactly.
we need to have more access to mental health professionals. We need to make sure people who are having episodes, that people not necessarily just pick up the phone and call the police, but look for resources to try to get someone the treatment they need in order to keep them safe and keep the community safe. So I think we have to have a balance there.
Appreciate
Has
it.
there been any conversation with like local hospitals where like if there's a diagnosis of a mental situation that the system and engages right then before we have an episode and it's at a crisis point?
Absolutely. That would be the goal.
Okay.
We appreciate it. 8:01 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're now in the second hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
We're here with Mayor John Ewing with our monthly meeting with the mayor. He agreed to get with us for a certain amount of time, so we're gonna go ahead and let him go about his day. We know he's one of the busiest, hardest working mayors in the country. So we see you outside all the time too. We appreciate that. I got some stuff for you. There's a play coming up. When a woman's fed up that is coming into town with Lenny Williams is going to be on the play. All these different folks that I thought Mayor would love this. So I'm gonna put you in touch with the folks so you can make sure
That
that you
would
get
be
out.
awesome.
Yeah,
And if
uh,
I can make it, I definitely would want to go see that.
sounds good. Sounds good.
Nice.
Appreciate you, Mayor. Thanks for
Okay.
joining
Thank
us.
you guys.
We'll see you next month.
Okay. Take care.
See ya.
Have a good one.
All right, all right.
All right.
There it is, monthly meeting with the mayor. Appreciate you guys that were putting questions in the chat, and hopefully some of those questions got answered. We'll save some of those. We often take some of the questions as well and then send them back to the mayor so that he can answer those and answer them directly if we don't have enough time to do that. So I did get the message that he had to make sure that we stayed on time today, so we had to get going. But we appreciate you
Keep
guys
it tight.
joining us. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Keep it tight.
Yeah, had to keep it tight. Yeah, appreciate you guys joining us. And I see Tamara Dwyer in the chat, man. We
Yep.
missed. Sorry about that. He said the mayor's homeless service team are both mental health professionals. There you go.
Nice.
That's right. That's right. Remember that. Remember that. There is a division of mental health professionals in the mayor's office that deal with folks every day. Shout out to Tamara Dwyer, who is the homeless coordinator over there in the mayor's office. Appreciate that. I appreciate all of you who joined us. I'm going to look at some of the rest of the questions that were in the chat. I see some thank yous to the mayor too. Also, Wanda Lewis is in Community Alliance, who does provide some mental health services, has relocated near the Walmart store on 72nd. It's being alleged that she was a client of that facility. Wow. She was already over there trying to get some help. That's unfortunate. Ariel's 402 said, question, where non-lethal means considered with the case of the troubled lady. This was kind of my question too, Brother Mayor, Brother Sanchez, because I definitely felt that way too. Like, it's hard for me to call it. It's hard for me to call it. I'm not a cop. I'm not in the situation. I can't, call whether or not she needed to be killed, in the way, or, the way that it went down like that. I always jump to, can't we try some non-lethal force ways to do things first? But I know that's not always that's not always possible. But it also comes down to that. That's why I would never try to be a police officer, because I'm not
Yeah.
prepared to be out here putting killing folks in situations. So yeah, it is the question, and I think that we can look at different countries, we could look at different places that use
Mm.
different techniques and answer that question too. But in America, we have a very very strong propensity to shoot first, ask questions later. It's like in the lore of the whole
Yeah.
country.
And have a mental health problem that we as a country need to address as well. It's a pandemic, if you will. So,
This is,
yeah,
as a matter of fact, Biko Kwan's in the chat. Good morning to you. Says, why couldn't we cops use non-lethal? It's a good question. Like I said, I can't really call it on this particular thing. We all
yeah,
got to see the body cam footage here, and we don't. Like I said, we can't really call it, but it's a general question for me. Can we figure out non-lethal ways to take care of business here as well? Also, just a shout out to Biko Kwanzaa. We got your name the other day too, for the brother that we had on Way of Life Wardlow on.
yeah.
Says that you gave him let him know that he should get on the show. So we appreciate you champion us to him. Appreciate that. RG in the chat says we only engage with legitimate journalists. Mary Ewing, shots fired.
Hey,
Cold blooded.
cold blooded. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man,
hilarious.
that's what's up. Yeah, that was definitely a highlight. We'll take a quick break and come back, if I can find how to do that. We'll take a quick break and come back and jump back into all of the conversations and everything else on this second hour, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah, we really appreciate everybody hanging with us, and can't tell you how much we appreciate the mayor letting us ask some of the hard questions, some of the getting into those conversations, man. But also
Yeah,
hearing about what he's excited about, what's going on. What the mayor is excited about are some things that mean prosperity, especially in our neighborhoods. This is the first time I feel like we really can hope that there's some changes and stuff that can be made in our communities, the communities that
man.
he grew up in as well.
I actually went back around to some of that stuff. He talked about some contracting, getting to the bag. Talked about the soccer stadium. We gotta talk about it
Following that money. Stay tuned. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
in the morning.
I'll be buddy to God. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I'll be buddy to God. All of you chat chimers, ghost listeners,
Hey,
and monitoring spirits.
we
You
see
know who
you.
you are. I have a feeling they was on today. Like,
Hey, come on, man.
who gets to talk to the mayor? Let me
Come
see
on.
what these guys are doing. The legitimate journalists. I'm just playing.
There you go. There you go. Actually, on that note, I saw somebody give us a dope shout out. It's a name I haven't really seen too much. Lauren Blake in the chat says, "I'm a nerd. I feel like I'm watching and listening to a round table of Jedi masters." Okay, hey. May the force be with you
May the force be with you always.
always.
Appreciate that. Yeah, and a shout out to the new name. Oh, Linda Lathan in the chat too, man. First Guy Omaha fan. Appreciate
Squad.
you coming on through. Squad in the house. And Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning too. Thank you. Appreciate everybody who's joined us and stuck with us throughout the first hour. We're now in the second hour. We're going to cut loose a little bit here, talk about some of these things. We still got a few more stories to jump into as well to round some things around. But really appreciate you guys sticking with us. If you missed any parts of that interview with the mayor, please go back to the chat, go back to YouTube, check it out, and you can get into the chat and keep talking. Keep putting some stuff down, commenting on it. Just because we're not live doesn't mean you can't comment on the video. So definitely comment on the video. As you can see, when the mayor comes on, we're able to ask some questions. And yeah, next month, hopefully, we'll have some questions gathered. There was one I didn't get to just because of time, but we'll definitely try to gather a few more questions and see if we can optimize the time when he comes on next month for our monthly meetup with the mayor. In the meantime, between time, buddy, let's jump back in. Where you at?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, Mayor Ewing was able to answer a couple of questions that I, had lined up and didn't get to ask. He just jumped right on it, and one of them definitely was, the soccer stadium. The city council just approved multi-million dollar, hundreds of millions of dollars going into the soccer stadium that's happening right. Some say it's right outside North Omaha. We say it's right in North Omaha, No-Do area, right there around Abbott Drive. But of course, what does this mean for inside of North Omaha, the community, right, hop, skipping, and jump away? And I definitely appreciate what Mayor Ewing was saying about, his plan for the ecosystem, which is something I've been talking about here on the show throughout the season. Again, it's not just about dollars and cents and finding a job and that's it. Like, what is the ecosystem? How can we all support each other? And it is kind of interesting when you look at the juxtaposition between leadership, between Mayor Ewing and Illin Pillin, as you see at the top of the list. During the break, we had our six to dismiss list on the screen. And yeah, as you see, man, as we like to call him, Illin Pillin, Governor Jim Pillin at the top of it. Of course, we're weeks away from our gubernatorial primary, in which, again, Governor Pillin is vying for reelection. But again, looking at the juxtaposition of leadership is very interesting when you talk about the economic plan that Mayor Ewing has versus the state of economy in Nebraska as a state. It's very interesting. Again, shout out to Flatwater Free Press and the work that they're doing and reporting on this. And headline reads, stuck in neutral, Nebraska used to be a leader in creating jobs and spurring growth. Not anymore. Again, not long ago, according to the article, Nebraska's growth was quite literally a national cover story. Under Pete Ricketts, Nebraska soared through the air, wearing skis and goggles on the Olympic-themed March 2018 cover of Site Selection, which is an economic development industry magazine. The cartoon image illustrated Nebraska's high-flying 3-year run as winner of the Governor's Cup, awarded to the state landing and the most economic development projects per capita in the nation. But of course, when Site Selection last month named the top development states for 2025, Nebraska was nowhere to be found, according to the article. It didn't even crack the top 10 at all. The second straight year it missed the list altogether. According to the article, it's the latest indicator that formerly front-running Nebraska has lost its edge when it comes to competing for jobs and economic growth, creating what state business leaders see as an urgent challenge and cloud darkening the state's future. Of course, we've been having conversation in our senator ciphers with the senators Terrell McKinney and Ashley Spivey. Of course, we also just had Michaela Cavanaugh. We'll be having Senator John Kavanaugh on next week, and just trying to get a grasp on what's really going on the state level, what's happening with the the economy of Nebraska. Of course, we know there's a multi-million-dollar shortfall. We're in debt. Let's just call it what it is. So again, to see that forecast and then to see what Mayor Ewing is potentially planning, or at least doing. Of course, there's a plan. That's man, that's a lot in itself. But again, very interesting. And I know, Paul, you have some thoughts. We're seeing a lot of, actually, shout out to all of you out there who have been sharing jobs. We see at least one or two jobs, just about every day getting posted on Friends of. A lot of jobs out there on Friends of, but kind of interesting. Yeah, again, Flatwater reporting there's a job shortage, but we're seeing a lot of jobs circulating. How do we make sense of it, Paul?
I
What's
think
saying?
yeah, I think that that's a part that's just indicative of what it is that we are about here, and you as extension, First Sky
Mhm.
Omaha fam, the people that are
Yeah.
really following and coming through and feeling this sense of community and trying to help each other out. And I think that the spirit of that is what it is. Anytime there's a shortage or something, our community does something that kicks into gear and takes care of what they need to take care of. We all know that you get a lot of jobs because of hookups. So some of this, what it feels like, people are putting jobs in Friends of First Sky Omaha. As a matter of fact, I just wanted to take a quick moment here to share the Friends of First Sky Omaha page. I'm looking at some stuff here where there's some information. I'm trying to see how far down I can get to where we're talking about some job situation here. Let's see if we can figure something out here. Uh, let's see how far down we can go. Boy, there's a lot of news that just happened. So here's one right here. That's shout out to Paul Philman, has been putting a lot in. Logier maintenance tool and die supervisor, second shift happening. Also, IB Black Girl is hiring for a development associate. So that's interesting too. Here's a new business. Shani Hernandez has her Island Chill business on a brick and mortar now on Ames Street. So you see employing some kids there. So that's what's happening. Also, Tamara Dwyer put in for applications analyst. City of Omaha HR. This is from the City of Omaha. So a job here that she has put in as well. Uh, let's see. I think there was a couple more down here that I wanted to look at. Here's one right here. Tamara Dwyer also put in Omaha Downtown Improvement District. We're hiring, as you can see, 40,000 to 45,000 marketing communications director. I was coordinator. I was like, I need to apply for this myself. Yeah, there's some as you can see, lots of activity here in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Here's an automotive equipment operator job that Paul Philman put in as well. Maintenance repair too for Omaha. Human resources. This is Omaha City again. City of Omaha. So as you can see, there's a lot going on here just in our community alone with everybody saying, hey, there's some job shortages. The people might need some jobs, and you can see our community kicking in almost like mutual aid. Let's kick in and show each other where the jobs are and help each other out. So I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody who's done that. We had Friends of First Sky Omaha that have been looking for jobs. You know, we can't forget about our brother Sean McCarthy, who filled out almost 200 applications trying to get something, and finally got in as well. So he's always on the lookout and posting stuff in Friends of too. So it just, to me, it's like it's a testament to the fact that when there's a problem, there's an issue, our community is going to try to step up and do something about that issue too. So, and help people get to where they got to get to. That's what we got to do. It's on us. We can't depend on the job, the economy, in the corporations. We got to find the jobs ourselves and help each other out.
Man, actually, speaking of that, I do also want to acknowledge, the entrepreneurship, things that we've been talking about, and those who are looking to go into business for themselves, kind of take their own, destiny in their own hands. And again, I do want to acknowledge what Anthony Rogers Wright is saying in the chat about the history of Omaha's elected officials, saying Omaha's elected officials have repeatedly made financial decisions that have left the city with a debt burden of $1.2 billion. That burden equates to about $7,500 for every city taxpayer. And let's just be honest, racism has a lot to do with that. Let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is. So when you hear Mayor Ewing, what'd you say?
That needs to be a clip. He's like, let's just be honest. Racism.
Let's just be honest, man. Again, certain communities have been left out of economic development in Omaha. Why aren't more diverse contractors getting these contracts? Why are we seeing more support for North and South Omaha businesses? So again, Mayor Ewing trying to change that tide. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it, and would like to hold him, to account for that plan that he's laying out. But again, that's what I'm on. You know what I mean? Let's prepare ourselves to be in line to take advantage of some of those things. I've actually, somebody else in the chat asked me about Mayor Dickens, who's again the mayor of Atlanta, and we talk a lot about the comparisons between Atlanta and Omaha, and there's even city planning things. We got into the bike trail earlier. There are a lot of similarities intentionally between how Omaha is developing and what Atlanta has done historically, and those contracts is a part of that. Again, making sure minority diverse companies are getting these contracts will definitely lead to the prosperity that I think we're all trying to get to. Of course, when we have these conversations on the show, a lot of you, which I do appreciate the rebuttal, because it's real. We talk about home ownership and starting businesses, but if there's not a good economic job base, who's going to pay for this stuff? Who's going to pay for these houses? Who's going to patronize these businesses in North Omaha? And if you ask me, sounds like Mayor Ewing has a plan to do just that. So let's hold him accountable to that plan.
Yeah, hold them accountable and realize that the mayor's plan isn't the end all be all. We have so many other lanes that we need to be paying attention to solve some of these issues too. Can't leave it all on the city. I like what Tony Johnson's talking about here too. Well, you got to remember cost of living, not just jobs, but what are these jobs paying? Latest report says single people need income of $70,000 for quality of life in Omaha. Also, he says Tony Johnson says $50,000 for basic needs for a single person. Mama God is reminding us that there's trainings out here, HVAC free training available. That's a great opportunity. Some
Yep.
of those things we put in Friends of First Sky Omaha as well. Also, RG says, can't get away from it, man. Folks keep talking about why is it always race with y'all? I'll be honest, racism. I knew that's her new go-to saying.
Yeah,
He
man.
says, why is it always race with y'all? Because y'all made it about race when we got to pick up the pieces. Tell them,
That
RG.
part. That part.
So, yeah, so lots to talk about there. Not just the cost of living, but yeah, what are these jobs paying? What are households doing when they're under that yearly pay that they need for quality of life? And what about those of us that don't really thrive in jobs, and that's why we start our own businesses? What kind of support is there for small business as well, and things like that too? So there's a lot of questions there still, and of course we continually deal with it. We do talk about the mayor having a plan. That's cool, but again, there's more that we need to do for ourselves
Oh
besides
yeah.
to just depend on the plan of an office. But it can help. You have to have it with the plan. You
That part.
that part. Put all
That
the
part.
lanes together. All the lanes got to get together.
Yeah, because again, just to throw in another story with this kind of a headline, again, juxtaposing the leadership, because man, at the state level, it's looking rough. This is out of KMTV3. Nebraska State Employee Health Insurance Fund facing total depletion. State Auditor Mike Foley is sounding the alarm after the fund balance totaled just more than $7 million at the end of 2025, which again is the fund used to cover health insurance for state employees. Again, a state employee is historically been looked at like, man, you work for the state, you got a good job. That's
You got that
secure.
good,
You get all the benefits. You're taken
good
care of.
insurance. Got that good insurance.
Come on, man. And it's not really the case anymore. And again, that leads definitely to leadership, and let's just call it what it is, racism. I mean, let's just say it, man. You know what I mean? They don't want to legalize marijuana because we all know the connection to race and the quote unquote war on drugs. I mean, racism and bigotry is expensive. Ask Louisiana.
Mm, that's Louisiana indeed. Wow.
Man, man. So
I've
yeah,
been
yeah.
looking at this graph real quick that they put out on this. Let me see if I can post this up real quick. But
What you got?
yeah,
What you got?
yeah, this graph that they put on the decline, is that what I'm looking at here? Let me see if I can put it on the screen. Total health insurance fund balance since fiscal year 2022.
Man,
That's a serious decline here by 2025 for real.
man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so
I mean, that
yeah,
drop between 24 and 25 is something serious.
right. I wonder why. I wonder if we got to file the money on this, find out why this
Yeah.
decline. That's
I mean,
incredible.
Mutual of Omaha did just build a new building. I mean,
Ooh,
just saying.
Omadome. Man. Racism is expensive. Everybody pays the price. Shout out
Come on,
Stacey
man.
King. You ain't lying. Anthony
Come
Rogers
on,
is
man.
right. Tax the rich is basically that easy. Basically.
Yeah.
Come on.
So on that, you always bring them up. Let's get some shine in Mondami. You know what I'm saying? Zoran did finally get that in New York, taxing the rich. Again, but he had to engage the state level to do that. So again, big shout out to those with common sense in positions of power. It would be
Mm,
nice. It would be nice.
mm.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah. And again, we have to reiterate. It would be nice, and even if that was the case, even if there was some common sense in that situation, and there would be some relief and some help, that's not the end all be all.
Man,
It takes more than just that to make that change, and so sometimes we got to concentrate on that when we don't have that in the situation. So yeah, appreciate that very much. Appreciate your comments on this as well. RG says, "Ask Mississippi." Yeah,
come on,
we
man.
got examples all around that can tell us. That's
Hey,
for sure.
Mississippi of the Midwest.
That we are Mississippi of the Midwest. Before we get on to the next article, just want to take a little breather and just remind everybody that the big Omaha Public Library Central Library opening is happening on Sunday. I highly encourage you guys go check this out. If you have not been with some of the groups that have gone to the sneak peeks, you've been telling your friends, telling your family, this is going down. Make a day of it. Go ahead and jump on the Orbit. The Orbit is free. Shout out to the Transit Authority. They got the free rides to the opening happening on Sunday as well. So definitely check that out. Also, our partners over here at the Douglas County Health Department. We really appreciate them making sure that they send the message through us again that the lead poisoning is 100% preventable. We can get tested. There's free testing, not just for your yard, your house, but also the people in your house. And this is especially a concern for people in neighborhoods around North and South Omaha, especially in North Omaha, because of the fact that there were so many lead smelting point companies back 100 years ago that were permeated the grounds around where it is that they ultimately redlined us to go live. So
Man,
definitely get that checked out, because it can be preventable, it can be stopped, and we appreciate them jumping in as well on that too. With that, buddy, how you feeling? Where are we at next?
yeah, I do want to get into some Love Supreme things here in a second. But before that, I do kind of want to get this endorsement conversation out of the way, and kind of talk about our political coverage. I know we were having some conversations. Anthony Rogers right in the chat saying, talking about the political reality in New York. Again, saying that's because he's a forward-thinking mayor that always willing to push the envelope. If you think it's easy to work with the New York State Legislature, you're not familiar with the New York State Legislature. And again,
Yeah.
I'm aware that it's not easy to get common sense. I mean, if it was easy, we would have more common sense legislation and policies in this country. But again, that brings me to the six to dismiss and the work that we have to do. To your point, Paul, which I appreciate, always bringing it back to what can we do, what can we control, and going out to the polls is definitely one of the things that we're urging people to do to help with some of this stuff, to help make us controlling our own lives just a little easier. So I did want to acknowledge an endorsement and kind of get into that a little bit. I know, Paul, you were out at the big announcement with brother John, or not John, brother Preston Love Jr. Excuse me, as he endorsed Denise Powell. We also saw Senator Terrell McKinney make an endorsement. So it looks like endorsement season is upon us.
Absolutely.
You got any recap from that?
Yeah, well, we like we heard that this was coming up. It's a big deal that Preston Love Jr. endorsed Denise Powell. We'll actually have Denise Powell on too, so you can get your questions ready for her. We'll be talking to her shortly as well. Like I said, this is that season, man. We're kind of booked up because we got so many people that we need to bring on and have a discussion with. But yeah, Preston Love Jr. was out there. He endorsed her. Felt like that she's he said that there's a lot of really decent candidates that are running. I think there's like 6 people running. He's only acknowledging a few of them, but he's saying that that she's the top pick because she'll work with North Omaha. And again, if you remember, he came onto the show to talk about the strategy. We talked about 6 to dismiss, and we kept skipping over Congressman Don Bacon because he's deciding not to run. As a matter of fact, that was the premise of Precious McKesson. Precious McKesson's post was like 7 down, 6 down, 1 5 down. I can't remember what it was. 7 6 1 to go. 1 already left. Don Bacon, he's not running. But Brother Preston Love Jr. came on and said, "Hey, we got a strategy here. If we can get a Democrat in that seat, then they only need a couple more Democrats, and then there can be impeachment proceedings happening if you get enough people in the seat." So he was really adamant that this was a very important race. That seat that Don Bacon occupied before, if we can get Democrat in that seat, then there can be some progress there. And so he decided to endorse that and endorse her. And this is somebody who I've seen before, I've talked to before in certain other settings where people have been endorsing her. And it looks like that she's kind of ahead in some of these polls. We don't necessarily trust these polls all the way. I think there's a little bit to talk about when it comes to these polls, but some of the work that's being done with these polls are showing that she's ahead in the race. Brinker Harding is the person that's running on the Republican side, which was also something significant that he brought out there too, to be reminding.
Got the Trump endorsement.
Trump endorsement. I did see. I'm looking at Anthony Rogers Wright's post here or comment here. I don't really agree with the way that you're framing some of this. He says an endorsement. Yeah, I guess that's one way of putting it. I think it was more of an investment, which will likely be confirmed when the FEC filings are made public in a few months. Okay, let's see. He says, interesting that Mr. Love endorsed a candidate with policies that are completely antithetical to those of Jesse Jackson, who of course was a staunch ally and comrade of Cuba and Fidel Castro. Okay. I appreciate your sentiment here. He said, which is not accurate. Trump is not getting impeached. Didn't say he was getting impeached. So I'm not being inaccurate here. So let's chill out. He says, we really need to stop giving people the impression that this can happen. I don't think I don't think that we should. I think that that's a strategy that one of our elders told us that would probably that could happen if we moved in a certain direction. I think we got to listen to that. If you have something against that, then let's have a debate on that. But I'm commenting on right now because of the way that you commented on my post in Friends of First Sky Omaha when it came to that. So again, we're asking for, let's respect our elders and find a different way to approach some of these things that we disagree with. Tony
Which is
Johnson,
what
go ahead.
that's kind of where I wanted to go with the conversation, as far as, not, there's a lot of comment on who's endorsing who and the candidates and things like that. And Paul and I, we had a conversation about how we're approaching this midterm election and things like that. And in the past, we have also focused on candidates. We had a whole series where we had candidates, speak their piece. And again, shout out to the League of Women Voters who just dropped their voter guide, who's also highlighting the candidates. But especially, you, brother Anthony Rogers, right? I wanted to, address you about strategy. I know you're a political strategist, and I know you're very vocal about this stuff. But I'm more curious about, less curious about your calling people out and commentary. What is the strategy? What is the plan? Like, I kind of want to focus more on that political strategy. Also, we'll definitely be talking more about the issues as we get closer to the election. But
Man,
what?
forgot to ask the mayor about his endorsement of Christopher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But
I was going to do it.
strategy,
Yeah. Strategy.
strategy. I definitely want to get into political strategy. Talk about that more. As far as what is our strategy as a people, as a community. Not just highlighting the candidates and what little we can glean from them in a couple of weeks ahead of the
Right.
election. But who's fitting our plan? What is the plan? Is more so where I want to go
Yeah.
with our conversation in the upcoming weeks.
Let's talk about. Actually, he came in and said that's what I'm referring to, Paul. There's no way there will be 2/3 of senators that vote to convict Trump. Not going to happen. I understand where you're coming from on that. Yeah, and I agree with you. I don't think it can happen. I think that when we're dealing with trying to make moves to try to make some of these things happen, then I'm taking stock in what Preston Love Jr. said as far as that strategy is concerned, and even making me aware that was even a thing that could happen was something that was interesting to me. Whether it will or not, probably not. I understand where you're coming from on that, but I don't think that it's a reason to quote unquote stop filling people's heads with the information and the hope in the plan, because we got to come back to what that plan is,
Right.
which is what Buddy's talking about here. He's saying, I wish the North Omaha community would have a people's movement assembly. I agree. Consolidate our vote rather than let it be split up by candidates and political parties.
Agreed.
Definitely agree on that. Appreciate that. He says there was no community discussion before endorsements were made. Did Mr. Love consult with the people, the youth, or is it unilateral endorsement? That's not leadership. That's demagoguery. Okay, I'm not sure about that. Um, I do know there was some discussion here amongst some of the political strategists and people that he's working with for sure. And this is his endorsement. So, I can understand the reason why he's deciding to endorse a person based on his research. You can do the same, but who is it that you are finding that's running that you would endorse, that you would stand up because of your research on them and endorse? Love to hear who that would be as well. And it takes us back to what you're talking about with strategy, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. Again, what is the strategy? What is the agenda? Appreciate Tony Johnson also speaking of that. Says one strategy is black voters on support candidates with an actual black strategy that actually it benefits black people or black voters. When you to the community, or excuse me, when you to community do not just talk about their issue and no specific solution.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I wish there was. I wish there was as far as I'm personally concerned, I wish there was a candidate out there was more in tune with that. I agree with Preston Love Jr. on you got to pick the people you can work with, which is I think it was his strategy on who he picked as well. So appreciate that. Roscoe Wallace in the chat. Good morning.
Peace.
Says, good morning, men. Midterm madness is fast approaching. Let's get out there. Let's get out the vote. That's what we're talking about right now. Talking about who do you endorse? Who's looking good in this replacement of especially some of the six to dismiss? Who do you see? Who do you see out there?
Man,
Anthony Rogers Wright says, right now, if the election we're here today, I'd be writing in Yoda. God knows Congress needs more Jedi Masters and less politicians. Well, seeing
man.
as we're Jedi Masters, maybe we should go ahead and run then. That's what it is. Appreciate you. I feel you. Okay, so you would write in anybody at this point. Nobody you would endorse. So no strategy there for the people that might make it. Any with you, it's if there's nobody to endorse, you won't endorse anyone, or you won't vote for anyone. Um, and there's no strategy there for the people that are there in the same kind of vein of like maybe vote for the one that you think you might be able to work with, that is halfway listening to something and you can work with them. I mean, it's a personal choice. I'm not saying it's one way or another. I'm genuinely asking, is that your strategy?
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
What's the strategy? And also to Roscoe Wallace's point, getting out the vote. That is a thing, and my mind goes to two things as far as where we kind of need or kind of lacking, I guess, at this point ahead of the midterm is one, actual strategy, an actual plan, a clear vision, as I asked in previous episodes, what it is that we want. What do we want? So we can hold, rather than just seeing getting fed what politicians have ideas that they have and seeing, okay, yeah, that sounds like the best. What do we want?
Mhm.
And kind of let that drive the conversation. And then secondly, how can we engage our community more in this civic process and this civic engagement? When you say get out the vote, my mind automatically goes back to arts, and definitely want to
Mm.
get more into arts in this second, the last half hour of the second hour. But think back to, remember the Diddy get out and vote movement, and
Vote
just
or
all the
die.
energy that was around the vote or die movement, the energy that was around it, and of course we can follow the money, and I know some of the controversy and conversations around that campaign, but just thinking about art and music and love warriorship and the role that also plays in getting people excited about the vote. Which is again lacking. Not seeing a lot of excitement about around this midterm election outside of the people who kind of already know what's at stake, who are already voting, who are already active
Right.
civically. Like, what about the average person working, that might not vote? We need to engage them as well.
And it's hard to engage people without a clear message or a clear strategy. It's very tough. Anthony Rogers Wright in the chat earlier when you talked about what you'd like to see. Let me see if I can find that, because that was something that I totally agree with. We need to get together. We kind of we need a people's movement, and I'm wondering if I can't find your comment right now, but we need this
Mm,
people's movement of strategy that puts the people together. Puts us all on the same page, gets us down to one vote. In order to be some kind of political force there, I agree with that, and I wonder if there's you have efforts. Is there efforts that you are engaged in to get to that? Because that seems to be always the answer each time. We're not going to make any huge change all the time for individual things a lot unless we band together, and so that kind of mutual grouping to get down to one vote might be the thing that we need to be focusing on even more. He says focusing on local this year. This is his strategy. The election
okay.
that impacts our everyday lives. County attorney and OPPD board of directors. Those are the two most important races for our material condition. So I
Okay.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Appreciate that. And on that regard, I did see you post about your support for Michaela Danner. Is that something you doubling down on? Is that something you standing on as far as your endorsement?
There we go. Good questions. Let's move on from there. As a matter of fact, we'll jump into a break in a minute. But I see Way of Life Warlow back in the
Hey.
chat. Appreciate you coming on through, bro. Way of Life Wardlow. Excuse me, I pronounced your last name wrong. He says, "Yeah, it's official." He says LBVS. I said. He says, I think I may run in Omaha within the next 2 years. That's what's up.
Okay.
Step on up, then. There you go.
Okay.
There you
City
go.
council.
We need some love supreme warriors, art warriors in these seats. That would turn the tides in a big way. Matter of fact. So yeah, man, put your money where your mouth is. Step on up. That's what I say on that situation. If those of you that have aspirations to be to deal with politics and have the ability to do that, and can have the following too. This is another
Mm,
thing. I see a lot of people running that have done a lot of alienating of the community, and it's I don't see how they would think they're going to get any support to run. And it's unfortunate because some people that are running really have some great strategies, and just don't have the support. And that's why it's so important that we figure out how to get together with one another in a
That
real
part.
way. And we're going to keep pushing that. We'll take a quick break and come back and jump back into the conversation. Thank you for everybody that's sticking around here. Stick around. We only got a few minutes left in the show. Love to hear from you. So please stick around. Stay tuned. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy
Hey.
to God,
Hey.
all of you, Chad Chimers, Ghost listeners, monitoring spirits, those of you that are listening but would never let nobody know.
We see you.
The ballot or the bullet
Stay tuned.
explains itself. We have a fight that's common to all of us. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. Today it's time to stop singing and start swinging. The ballot or the bullet. The ballot.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy to God, all of you. Want to jump into a couple things before we get back into it. International collaboration is happening. The 19th annual Rebuilding the Village Conference and Revive Black Business Expo is happening on May 8th. Put it on your calendar. It's going down at the Hilton. Lots of speakers, lots of people to talk to for sure. And we definitely need to jump in and have our voice be heard and be a part of these conversations right here. It's happening at the Hilton from 7 a.m. to 3:30. It's that annual event that they have their 19th annual Rebuilding the Village Conference and Revive Black Business. Shout out to Empowerment Network for putting this together. Definitely check out the registration. You see a QR code there. We'll put this in Friends of First Sky Omaha for you to do that and check the registration. Come on down. Let's be a part of this. Again, the most information that I get is when I go to some of these events, be and participate, check out what's happening, ask questions, talk to people face to face, and find out what's going on. Shout out to Empowerment Network for doing that. Also, don't forget, very important event coming up, Omaha's Public Library, Central Library, opening on Sunday. If you haven't seen it yet, it's going to blow your mind. I highly suggest you go check it out. And maybe take the Orbit over to go see it. Public Transit has made it free to ride the Orbit to go check out the public library on Sunday. Definitely check that out if you get the chance, for sure. Also wanted to give a shout out to the North Omaha Book Club. That's coming up Saturday, April 18th as well. I guess looks like their new format announced. So definitely tap in with them first, but it looks like their next event is Saturday, April 18th. And it's going to be at the lower level at Essential Gathering Place, 5001 North 42nd Street. So definitely check that out. They looks like they're talking about economics. So we had we talked about this being the month of financial literacy month. And one of the things we put out there is have your book club, check out some literacy books, financial literacy books. Looks like they will be talking about economics with the North Omaha Book Club. So shout out to them. Looks like national bestseller Powernomics they're going to be talking about as well. So definitely tap in with them. New format and a new place or a new date for them for their get together. You can purchase books there as well. But Saturday, April 18th at the Essential Gathering Place is going down. Shout out to them for that in a big way. Also, weekend coming up. So pick your night, pick your vibe. Omaha, the Dreamland Lounge is getting down. As you can see, they got stuff going on Saturday. House of Afro Capes and Curls game night. Shout out to Jade Rogers, who is behind the House of Afro Capes and Curls. Glad she's teaming up with Katie over there at the Dreamland Lounge and getting down. Also, Way of Life Wardlow will be there for Turnt, our Way of Life show. He talked about that on the show the other day. If you missed any parts of his conversation, go back to YouTube, check out his enlightening conversation as well. And then, of course, there'll be some soulful music happening, live music happening on Sunday over there, too. So shout out to them for all of that happening. And don't forget, we do have Miss Karen Wells, mother of Amir Locke, that's going to be coming onto the show here in a couple weeks on 27th. And there is a film that's going to be shown at Film Streams. Highly suggest you tap into that because I'm sure tickets are going to be sold out on that. So get your tickets early. for the No Knock No Charge Amir Locke story that they put together. This is being shown at Film Streams on Monday, April 27th at 6:30, and of course, Karen Wells and the family will be on the show that morning to talk
Okay.
about the film more. So yeah, I appreciate that very much. Also, another thing I forgot to ask the mayor about the key conversations that's coming up for
Hmm.
Habitat for Humanity. We just don't have enough time. We're gonna have to see if the mayor can stay a little longer next time.
Yeah.
Too many
Yeah.
things we missed out on on that. Also, this is happening as well. This Mayday, Mayday. We keep talking about this. Get ready for this. It's going to be packed full of artists. It sounds like to me. Friday,
Love
May
Supreme.
1st. Man, Benson Theater, Love Supreme. Shout out to the Benson Theater. Still trying to, still doing things over there, making it happen. I love the fact that they got these major shows and things going on over there. Shout out to BFF and the Benson Creative District. Everybody who's over there making Benson what it is too. Remember, Benson is North Omaha.
Hey.
Engage. With that, we'll go ahead and jump back into the conversation because I know we're running late on time here. About 15 minutes left in the show. Want to pass it back over to you, buddy. How are you wrapping this up today?
Yeah, I actually want to go back to a comment from Tony Johnson, kind of amalgamating a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about, following the money, our conversation with the mayor. He says, buddy, get Mayor Ewing in touch with Mayor Dickens, again, the mayor of Atlanta, about his official initiatives on increasing black business representation in Atlanta sports and tourism industry. And that's kind of what I wanted to end off on, a little Love Supreme tourism
Mm.
conversation, and looking at a story that might help with the tourism as far as getting shows here in Omaha, talking about this Live Nation decision. Yeah, man, let's talk about it, Paul. I know you and I, again, we're a couple of music guys. Of course, we've thrown shows in Omaha. If you remember, in the Minus Old days, we had the Donnell Jones show that we threw, which was a lot of fun, and we constantly talk about how to do that and how to bring, not just, again, this is why we talk about all of this stuff, because we want to have a good economic base. We want to have a good, city with smart policies that can help us thrive, so we can go to shows, so we can go see art, so we can just enjoy all the beautiful things that life has to offer. And this decision might help with that. Again, for those of you who aren't familiar, Live Nation and Ticketmaster is, I mean, let's just call it what it is, a monopoly. That's what, again, jurors are calling. But they have had a stronghold on major acts and in their ability to tour, their ability to come to cities, their ability to engage with the local economy in those cities. And it has now been ruled via Vice magazine reporting on it, that a jury, after weeks of deliberation, has found that, again, Live Nation and Ticketmaster have maintained an illegal monopoly on the live music market. And after, again, roughly 5 weeks of testimony, the jury began deliberating on April 10th. But the initial complaint actually came from 2024, put forth by the U.S. Department of Justice and a group of state attorneys general. But again, Live Nation and Ticketmaster have been shaping the live music industry since their merger back in 2010. Of course, recently in Omaha, we've had Stillhouse, which I believe is a Live Nation venue. But again, how can we get other acts in the city, Paul? What say you? I know we've been talking about this for a while. I know you have a history of throwing shows. What say you? How does
Yeah,
this
well,
impact?
this is it's hugely impacted just in the fact that they've been a monopoly, so they can charge what they want. If you have ever suffered through exorbitant charges to go see your favorite artist, that's because they basically could just charge what they want, and they, from the back end side, they would lock in artists. If you went outside of their organization there, then they would take you off the roster, and they were hooked up with every major house in America, in the world, really. So this is huge that this is the case. It might open up a lot for a lot of new artists to be able to come through and not be locked into these contracts, not have to pay $50, $70, $80, $120 to go see your favorite artist, and so on. So and that also means it opens it up for promoters and people that are trying to do things as well. Shout out to White Rhino and those guys that's been throwing events to make it a little easier for people to be able to get busy there. So I appreciate that that's happening. And it just should open up the floodgates a little bit more for people to be able to do that. And Omaha may even turn back into one of those kind of destination cities for more concerts and more things to happen, and we can try to work at changing the economy a little bit, work at
Man,
just moving the economy a little bit in a different direction as well. So
come
that's kind
on.
of really, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I think it's huge. I think it's huge that
Yeah.
that's happened.
I'm thinking back to, remember the Stone Cold picnics, Stone Soul picnics. Man, you have like a Rick Ross coming out, but those kind of acts can't really go to those types of venues if it's not a Live Nation venue because of those contracts and things. So it would definitely be nice to see, more of those types of acts, more of those types of events in the community. And hopefully, again, those who are leading the charge on that, your Harold Mondays out there, your White Rhinos, other
Mm.
promoters in the area trying to make things happen. Again, to make Omaha just a more exciting, a more entertaining, a more just thriving place to live, man. So
Oh,
all about
depth.
the love supreme on that front. Big shout out to the jurors in that situation. I feel like this has been a long time coming, and as somebody who's in the music industry, the game is changing. The game is changing, man. So definitely excited about that.
Speaking of people in the music industry, I got to give a shout out to that play that I was talking about with the mayor
Yeah.
a little earlier. When Woman's Fed Up, I've been talking to some of the promoters behind it, national promoters. Man, this show's going on nationally everywhere. One of the people that in that show, Lenny Williams, Mister himself,
Mm.
is in the play, and also Jennifer Holliday. I don't know if you remember Jennifer Holliday, but Jennifer Holliday was in Dreamgirls, the original Dreamgirls back in the day. And I'm telling you, I'm not going, that song. So these are some major players that are in this play that are floating around. We'll talk more about this as it comes up. Like I said, I'm just now talking to some of the promoters now. We're trying to put something together to promote for this, but it's going to be at the Orpheum Theater Friday, June 12th, when the Woman's Fed Up. So not just a play, but a musical. A mix of musical artists that are coming through, traveling the country. And a lot happening when it comes to that. But I would love to see Omaha be more of that kind of destination spot for that. So we'll see. We'll see how a lot of these things affects tickets. We just talked about the Steelhouse, which is also an Omaha Performing Arts venue that was hooked up with Live Nation. So there is partnerships there. It may result in some ticket prices going down a little bit, maybe for some of these artists coming out, some of these events coming out. We'll see. But yeah, we'll give you some more information on that coming up as well. But yeah, Omaha used to be a hub for music. Omaha used to be a place that people didn't just fly over, but they stopped through on purpose because of a huge scene that was really kind of built on the 24th and Lake Street area and downtown areas of Omaha. So the fact that it used to be that, could be that again. People used to make a living here doing music. People used to make a living, put us on the tour because they were going to make enough money on the tour to come through here. So I'd love to see more of that happen for some of the music and some of the artists and genres that our communities are into, because we have a very diverse communities into a lot of different things. Taylor Swift might sell out CHI, but that don't necessarily mean that's who we looking for to come to town. A lot of people here though will. So we have to have it all. We got to have it both. We got to have both of that. I think they have that side covered. I think there's some other places that might be lacking when it comes to certain artists, certain genres, and certain places for them to play. We need to talk about.
Yeah. And at this moment, I do want to also shout out all the festivals that's happening. Speaking of the Deuce, it's pretty. Yeah, it's gonna be going down this summer, and hopefully, these types of changes, as far as live performances and things, will aid in that. I'd like to see bigger artists come to the Deuce as that ecosystem gets built out. Shout out to Pull Up and Vibe, Joy Fest, Noma Fest, Union. I mean, it's P got corner, man. We're gonna keep pushing that. We're gonna keep pushing that. Also, man, Sister Wanda Lewis, I appreciate you. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you. And we know, man.
He said, "Push Omaha is missing it, calling when it comes to events. Take a poll on what people want to attend and support. We definitely plan on doing that. Yeah, we listen. It's I
Go
appreciate
ahead,
it.
Paul. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate it because this has been our mission we started off kind of building out the news piece at Mind and Soul for that reason, so that we can be that hub. It's a tough business to be in, to talk about how to get the word out on certain things and where people go see that as well. As you can see, we have a strong family of folks that follow First Sky Omaha. So a little bit of an echo chamber sometimes when it comes to that. How do we get outside of that? How do we get the word outside that certain things are going on? And then, of course, you got to talk about the people that are putting the things on. Are they coming to us and letting them know what's happening? We learning same time y'all learning most of the time. So I think it's a problem everywhere. I miss the days when the reader when every single event was in the reader, and you can go to one spot and go check it all out because that was their business. But that's not our business model, and I wish it was. I wish we can bring something like that back. We'd have a whole division on Haps We've been, we decided we were going to do that a long time ago. We even got a theme song for the Haps. We was
Hey,
hoping this was gonna expand and blow up, but it takes it's actually a whole business to really kind of make sure that you're keeping track of culture and getting the word out to people on culture. And yeah, we're gonna keep on working on it as tough as we can for real. So appreciate that. Yeah, keep on calling it out with us for real, for real.
yeah. And if there are
Oh,
people that you'd like to see, let us know. Just put it out there. Let's start the conversation. We trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and we're going to start the conversation right here on the weekly wrap. This is where we're going to put
Hey,
a lot of those polls that you're asking about. It's on my list for one of the things that we want to put out there is to ask people what they want to go, what they want to see for sure. That is definitely one of the polls that we're putting out there. So if you have not signed up to the weekly wrap, we highly encourage you to do so. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and put the link in now. If you have
yeah,
not
yeah.
done that, please go ahead and sign up to the weekly wrap. A lot of that conversation and those questions that we're putting out to the public is going to be right there. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for that. Man, it's going down. Before we get too far into, man, I see Way of Life Wardlow is in the chat saying a few things. I appreciate that, man. He's saying, he says, just as the Asian, Jewish, and other immigrant communities, truth, this representation is out of love. We as Black people continue to allow life to happen to us and be everyone's friend. We need to be our friend, love ourselves, and respect our communities with protection by making sure our both interests are the basis for business and expansion. Otherwise, we boycott all businesses. This is stuff we've been talking about. Speak as one voice. Get together and speak as one voice. Not just vote as one voice, but vote on what businesses we're going to hit up and so on and so forth. Like all the things. So I appreciate you some of the sentiment that you got there for sure. I also see Brother McGaw in the chat. Give us some love. Appreciate you coming in this morning. He
Peace,
says,
guys.
"Speak."
Peace.
Also, Cheryl Weston is in the chat. Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming in too. She's what did we miss? Roscoe Wallace say something that she's
I'm talking about
agreeing.
get out and vote. His get out and vote comment.
Getting out in the vote, man. For real, for real. Appreciate that very much. Also, Pop says I thought that was Lenny. He was the best lead singer of T.O.P. Also, Tower of Power. Yeah, man. Tower of Power. One of the best singers. Lenny Williams got down. He's known for that stuff, but apparently he's still. The guy said he's thundering on stage with that voice still. So definitely
Okay.
check that out. We'll talk more about that coming up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But
Go
Brother
ahead.
Carlos say you want to check it out. It says I will see that out. Shay. Yeah, definitely go check it out. Go check it out. I meant to ask you. We had some tickets from White Rhino. Did those go out? We still got
Mhm.
those. What that
No,
situation?
they still go there. They're coming up because that is going to be a very important event as well. We have some tickets that we're about to, like I said, go to the weekly wrap because this is where we're going to be holding contests and doing all kinds of stuff. But yeah, Carrie Hilson and Life Jennings, shout out to what they got going on as well. These are, as a matter of fact, we got some VIP tickets here. This will be at the Gene Leahy Mall Pavilion. This is coming up June 13th. So we got a little contest going where we're going to be giving away some VIP tickets there as well. Shout out to Brother Calvin Williams who hooked us up with that and is doing the good work. Man, that's his lane right there in a big way. Every year he's up in the game when it comes to bringing people out here and doing major shows that everybody can come to. So I love it. I love it. That's what's happening. Appreciate you guys, man, getting into it, man. We only got a few minutes left in the chat here, or in the time frame here. So just want to, we kept on going through. The chat is kind of going off right now, which is good.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody talking about it, but just wanted to make sure that we understand this is our Love Supreme Friday, and we want to know about some of the things that you guys are getting into this weekend. If anything good, anything fun, you guys are making me wish Tower of Power was out here so I can go see a real show. I see y'all talking about it, man. But yeah, let us know about anything that's going on that you are going to be a part of this weekend as well. And if you don't catch us here live, then put it over in Friends of First Sky Omaha so we can know about it as well. Yeah, lots happening this weekend coming up, and we definitely got to talk about what's happening with Juneteenth coming up as well. We talked to Patty LaBelle gonna be in town. I mean, there's a lot
Man.
going down. This is the one I'm
Smokey.
really looking forward to. Smokey Robinson gonna be in town for on June 26th at Memorial Park. Also, this one is the one I'm excited about. Bart Hayes coming to town. Mono Neon, Mohini Day, Richie Love, Keon Harold. I mean, Frank
Man.
McComb. I mean, they get down at Noma Fest in a big way too. So yeah, lots coming up as far as being able to get outside and do some things and see some music. And I really hope like this judgment on Live Nation opens the doors here for Omaha in a
Hopefully.
lot of ways. Hopefully,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, if you don't do nothing this weekend, make sure you check out the library, support our artists. Check out the arts. A lot of beautiful artists being represented in the library. Excuse me, but it's going down this Sunday. Check it out.
Check it out. Anything else on top of your mind as far as what's happening this weekend, man?
Not really, not really. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much
Okay.
it. I'm trying to think. Is there anything
let's,
going on
let's,
out here?
that's what I was going to say. Let's switch gears. What's going on in the land of Stankonia over there, Atlanta?
Man, I'm trying to think. Nothing jumping out this weekend. I'll just be at the studio. Be at the studio all weekend. Yeah.
What you mean? You gonna have a low key weekend? That's
Yeah, I
wild.
mean, if you call in the studio with Big Boy and them low key,
Yeah, no, I hear that. I mean, you in there. That's I appreciate that very much. Whether or not they got something going on is the question. This weekend it might just be work as usual, which
yeah, man.
is pretty profound. So I highly encourage you guys to get out there and do your art. Everybody's an artist, man. Get back to it. You ain't played guitar in 20 years. Pick it back up. Get your fingers
Love
tough
Supreme.
again on it. Love Supreme. It will again. I think that a lot of times we put our artistic energy into other things and ways of life, what it is that we're doing, or we support our kids, or we support whoever trying to do what they do. But let's not forget, man, we need that too. It's just as necessary as everything else. You need food, you need water, you need shelter, you need your spirits lifted, you need art, you need people who will allow you to keep moving. Everybody's fighting a little bit of depression. Everybody's fighting a little bit of being overwhelmed. And it takes a up in your spirit and your emotions, which is exactly what art does for you. In order for you to kind of find the strength sometime to keep on going, or at least find the strength to help others keep on going. So let's all get together, man. Let's make it a part of our lives to live alive with one another in a real way, and not just when we need each other for whatever crisis we're trying to avert, but also remember something that's fun that you like doing. That's fun. Remember something that somebody who you love likes doing.
Mm.
You guys go ahead and hook it up. Make sure that they get a little bit in their life too. It's one thing, especially as men. It's one thing to be like, got some money for the groceries for you. That's cool too. But also, I know you like operas. Here's a show coming up. Let me take you to that. Because we want to take care of people's spirit as well as their material health as well. So
Yeah.
just got to keep it in mind. It's really one of the only things that keeps me going. Sometimes is the thought of that. It's like, oh, that's right. Wait a minute. I'm an artist. I could be filling up somebody's spirit right now too. Even if I
Man.
can't fill up the gas tank in this moment, I can fill up their spirit real quick. So let me throw them something in that way too. A lot of times it's free to do. So highly encourage you do it. This is the way we take care of each other. One of the ways we take care of each other, and we hope that you continue to do that as well over the weekend. Buddy, you got some final words for the people?
Yeah, I actually want to echo that sentiment. I've had some people close to me, family, friends, relatives that are dealing with depression. Some unfortunately losing their battle. And just this conversation of mental health. I actually want to give a shout out to another Love Supreme warrior who's doing good work in that space, brother Johnny No Good. Again,
Man.
make sure you check in with Beyond the Stigma. I think they have one coming up. So again, big shout out to brother Johnny No Good, all the gentlemen, all the men that go out to that Beyond the Stigma, speaking to each other, kind of giving each other a safe space to unload, to decompress, and to just have that mental clarity, man. It goes a long way. So again, big shout out to brother Johnny No Good and his platform Beyond the Stigma. Men, let's check it out. Let's tap in. Without further ado, with beyond that, man, just get outside, get you some fresh air. I'm finding myself walking in parks, just taking walks more and more to kind of help with my own mental health and my own emotional stability, man. So the seasons are changing. I'm
Yeah.
seeing more bloom seasons and things going on as far as flowers blooming and gardens. They're having events and things. Let's get outside, smell some fresh air, live alive with one another. And in the meantime, between time, catch us here, same time, same place. Of course, we will have our Senator Cipher on Monday, so look out for that. Again, we also will have Senator John Kavanaugh on Wednesday. So man, we got a lot of jam packed shows coming up, man. So stay tuned, tap in, check us out later on the weekly wrap. And with that, Paul B,
Yo.
take it away, man.
Just want to give a shout out to everybody who's dealing with loss right now too. Got a lot of friends whose parents are passing away. Just our prayers and thoughts and feelings and ability to be close is here. If you need somebody just to sit with you, let us know. And I just want to give a shout out to them. People that are dealing with some tough stuff. One of my really close friends out in California, her dad passed. who's kind of a mentor of mine too, man. Richard Abbott, man. And just want to give him a rest in peace. He was a serious journalist, serious photographer, serious philosopher, really cool dude, and a really close friend of mine. That was her dad. And so I'm feeling from my family. I'm feeling from my friends right now. I'm feeling from my people in the sevens. And I love y'all. And I remember, one of the things I think about when I think about relationships, what we're here to do for each other, be here when those hard times hit, is one of the main things for me. So, So spend some time this week, definitely getting with some friends and family of mine that are dealing with loss, or people my age. A lot of people my age, there are parents are passing away as well. So if our parents aren't passing away, let's consider it a blessing. Spend more time with them, not just call but hang with them, in person. And for those of us that are dealing with this loss, let's be together, be there for each other as well. So I appreciate you letting me dive in that real quick, a little bit over time. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Really appreciate everybody who's jumped in and going through it. Pops in the chest says First Sky was off the chain this week. Thank you guys for all you do. You have no idea how appreciated and loved you really are. Have a great weekend and see you on Monday. Man, Pops, I can always count on you to lift the spirits at the end. I appreciate you on that.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Appreciate everybody. We're going to get out of here. Take care of yourselves this weekend. Again, go to Friends of First Sky Omaha. A lot of jobs right there to take advantage of if you need one. And also some of the events that are going on. Wanda Lewis, I know a lot of people don't want to go to Facebook too. I heard that last time we talked. Oh, I got to go to Facebook now to go check out some stuff. We're working on getting it on the website so you can come right to our website and get some of those haps as well. But again, take some manpower. It's just the two of us.
Man, just the two of us.
It really is, and we pay out of our own pocket a lot of times to make this happen here. So, those of you that are helping us monetarily, got to give an extra shout out and thanks to you. Shout out to the $10 people, the $25 people, the $50 people a month, and everybody else who's giving gifts, one-time gifts, large gifts. Anybody who's doing business with us as far as our advertising is concerned. As you can see, we do a lot of that on the breaks. We do this kind of stuff. We show this kind of stuff, which shout out to Douglas County Health Department. Shout out to Ben Heaston. Shout out to guys who gave us this gig here and paid us to be able to show that and spread the word on that. We decided that we only spreading the word on the stuff that we're behind because it's our business. We have the option to do that. We ain't just going to be doing advertising with anybody. I can get to say that. We ain't just doing advertising with anybody, bro. If we even take the business, if we even take the money, it's somebody we get behind, some project, something we get behind. So we love that. And if you're one of those and you want to get with us, let us know. We'll definitely talk to you and work with you. We do have a rate sheet out there we can send you, but we also will work with you on whatever it is that you got going on too, because our goal is to spread the word to a very, very awesome audience, which is one of the best. We got one of the best audiences, one of the best chats, one of the best anything. Our followers, I think, are super, super awesome. And I really appreciate everybody all around the country, all around the world that's listening. Shout out to my friends in Russia listening to us from time to time. Shout out to my friends in Hawaii, California, Vegas, everywhere that has been digging in. And especially those that are in our community here in Omaha, Nebraska in a big, big way. Let's continue together and let's make it happen.
Oh,
yes.
Really quickly, RG is saying y'all need to get some interns out of high school, college. I do want to throw out, we are working on our content creators camp this year. So again, if anybody's interested, especially if you know some young folk that want to get into writing, want to get into storytelling of what's going on in their own community, their own backyards, send them our way. We're locking down dates. It's looking like throughout May. So again, for those who are interested, tap in with us, email us, check us out, just reach out and we'll get you in. Again, content creator camp, trying to build that team, but we ain't trying to have nobody burn down our warehouse. Like we will make sure people taken care of, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that part, help.
Come to death row.
Come to death row.
All right, y'all. Take care of yourselves this weekend. We'll see you Monday. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red